Hey, what's up everyone? And in today's Perfumery Basics video, I want to do a kind of like a little bit of a material showcase where I'm just gonna bring out a couple random materials that I have in my stash, and we'll kind of go through, review them, go over the odor profile, kind of best case uses and things like that. So without further ado, let's get with the first material. Now this first material I'm gonna kind of go over is called Agrumen Aldehyde Light, and this is kind of one of those materials that it's kind of hard to come by. I browsed the internet a little bit and it seems like the only online retailer that sells this is creatingperfume.com, and I picked it up on a whim just to smell it, just to see what it was, and I'm really glad I did. So first of all, don't let the name Agrumen Aldehyde Light fool you. This is not an aldehyde. Most aldehydes you have to dilute really super low, like 10%, 5%, 1%. This one you don't have to dilute that low. This one technically is not an aldehyde to me. You can probably dilute this, I would say safely, 50%, probably 25%, but you wouldn't really have to dilute it very much further unless you're working with really small batches. You can go down to 10%, but it's not a strong thing where you have to dilute it below 10%. So as far as the scent profile, this is definitely a soapy material. It's a little bit on the greener side, kind of a green leafy, so not green cypress, but more green leaf. Soapy green leaf and a hint of citrus, but when I smell the citruses in this, it's more of your green citruses like bergamot and lime. But when I take a whiff of this, the first thing that comes to mind for me is Irish Spring soap. And if anyone's familiar with Irish Spring soap, it's a popular soap that's been around for decades and decades and decades. It's a very soapy, kind of Irish green, bright, clean smell. And this nails it. I mean, this nails Irish Spring soap. So when I smell this, it's definitely the overall odor profile for me is probably like 60% soapy, 20% green leaf, 20% citrus, but it's primarily soapy. So now this one has the odor lifespan of about 250 hours on a paper strip, so this is considered a middle note. And I'd say the overall odor impact is about medium. It's not high where you would have to dilute it a lot, but it is a medium. And for uses, I would say the average use of this material of all the different formulas that I've seen is probably up to about 5% of your concentrate. You can use this in traces if you just want to put a small bit of clean soapiness in there, but just keep in mind it's going to be a green soapy. Up to about 5% of your perfume concentrate. Anything over 5%, you're probably going to be making a green soap fragrance, okay? So on to the next one. So this next one we're going to take a look at is called Datalat, or Datalat, from Symrise. Now this is a weird one for me. Off the bat, it's not exactly pleasing. They describe it online from Symrise. They call it it's more of a fig, kind of fig scent, slightly pruny, slightly raisiny, with little alcoholic hints of brandy, but it's primarily supposed to be a fig aroma chemical. And to be honest with you, it kind of misses the mark, I think. I don't smell this as primarily a fig scent. I smell this more as it does have fig-like qualities, but it also has a very fig leaf greenness to this. I don't really pick up much brandy or prunes or raisins. It's mostly to me a fig, but a really fig leaf heavy kind of scent. And I'm also getting this weird kind of fresh metallic note, almost like a bright rosy metallic note, and it's kind of in the background. So this is a very sharp note to me. Now this one, the odor lifespan of this is about 41 hours on a paper strip. So this one is probably more a middle note, kind of a transitional middle to top note. But the more I smell it, it's not very inspiring to me. This one, if you're looking for a real, like a fig note, this is not gonna do it for you. This could be very useful if you're looking for multiple aroma chemicals to comprise a fig accord, this would come in useful. But as the only material to come across as a fig note, no, this won't do it for you. It's too fresh, it's not gourmand enough, it's not sweet enough, it's very green leafy with hints of fig and very metallic to me. Now, as far as use in a perfume concentrate, now they say you can use this up to 5% in your concentrate is about average use. The formulas that I've looked at that actually use Datalat in their formulas, they actually use roughly about 2 to 3 parts per 1,000 in their formula. So everyone that's used this keeps it pretty low, and I can understand why. It's pretty uninspiring, but they probably keep it low because they're combining it with other chemicals to give it a more true to life kind of fig scent. So that's my thoughts on Datilat. On to the next one. Now this last one we're going to take a look at is called Karmawood from IFF, and it's also sold by another name called Norlimbanol. I think it's pronounced Norlimbanol. And they're both pretty much, you know, Norlimbanol and Karmawood, it's the same thing just by two different companies. I actually have both and they smell identical to me. So, and they both share the same CIS numbers, so they're probably the same thing. Now this one, it's a really good scent. It's one of my favorites. It is a more dry wood with hints and facets of amber. Now when I say amber, I don't mean ambergris, so it's not like that classic, you know, blue aquatic soapy amber. I mean, this is a dry wood with ambery facets in a sense of that oriental red amber. It's very balsamic, very dry. It's really, really good. Now, as far as longevity on paper strip, this is 400 plus hours, so this is a really, really long lasting material. Definitely a base note, but it's very strong. So this is one of those materials that surprised me. You will want to dilute this 10% or less when you're using this for your blends. It's that strong. It's a high odor impact material, and it's one of those sneaky little buggers where it's like you gotta dose it properly, because if you kind of overdo it, I've noticed it does have this facet of powderiness to it. If you keep it low, you'll retain that kind of dry, woody, ambery scent, but the higher you go in your concentrate, it starts to bring out this powderiness to it. So depending on if that's what you like, great. But as far as usage in a formula, when I use it, I won't go any higher than 10 parts per 1,000 in my formula. And looking at other formulas online that people have used this, they usually stay at about 10 parts per 1,000 or less. Now, you can go higher if you want to, but just keep in mind, it is going to get a little bit more powdery. So if that's something that you do want in your perfume, great. If you don't like powdery, keep it out, keep it low. But yeah, this is definitely a dry wood, ambery scent, great longevity, great tenacity, but dilute it 10% or less to use this. It's very strong stuff. Okay, so that was it. Just 3 quick material rundowns. So if you enjoy this style of video, please leave a comment below if you want to see more videos like this where I'll just start kind of reviewing actual individual aroma chemicals and oils and materials and things like that. If you have ideas of what to review next, if you do like this style, leave a comment below and I'll start doing more videos where I kind of go through these, okay? So with that being said, until next time.